You won't believe what happens next. To make this steak mouth-wateringly delicious, Frank splurged $5,000 on a fancy oven and excitedly headed to the beverage section. He picked up a few bottles of red wine suitable for the kids' actually juice, imagining the heartwarming scene of the whole family around the dinner table cheering, all meticulously prepared by him. He wasn't about to miss any little detail that could make the gathering even more perfect, and finally, as night fell, just when he was eagerly awaiting the kids' arrival, his youngest son called, splashing cold water on his beautiful expectations. Eomout F letter 3 CAE circumflex Eomout 3 Omout letter 2 B Y cute Cyrillic letter 4 ABC Stilla I cute and direct reflex a quarter W Ograv Eomout Eomout U cute Egrav Y cute Ograv intel I circumflex U cute E cute letter 3 F8 Hoff Ograv O circumflex Cyrillic letter 4 E3 I circumflex Eomout F I circumflex letter 2 BDO stroke 3 Omout Pinet sign Ograv O circumflex Eomout A circumflex letter 3 CA tilde divide by a punctuate E error Cyrillic letter 4 E3 I circumflex Elsadilla letter 3 CA 3 quarter Evo handle TF and a half quarter OQ I Eomout Cyrillic letter 4 BB 3 letter 3 7 BSR micro Eomout until the letter 773 Omout a quarter Ogrov letter 3 CA has an unexpected show Pinet sign saying Ogrov a quarter Ogrov letter 3 CA can't come home Pinet sign symbol 36 CA trucko letter 3 F2 cents Omout E error Pinet sign a quarter O tilde a year times a pound. That said, after hanging up, Frank felt a twinge of regret but was relieved the other kids hadn't called. He thought the other three would be home soon, but when he checked the voicemail, reality splashed cold water on him. His little daughter said she was too busy negotiating with a new agency, and his eldest daughter couldn't make it because she had to take care of her sick little one, not to mention his eldest son was overseas for work, leaving Frank with a complete family absence. Even standing by the fireplace, he felt no warmth. Looking at his aging reflection, Frank pondered why life seemed so hard. Amid the blows, a crazy plan took root in his mind. He went to the hospital, found his doctor, and lied that he accidentally dropped his meds in the sink. The doctor prescribed new meds. After ensuring safety, Frank rushed home to pack, thinking, since they won't come, I'll find them myself. On the train to his eldest son's city, Frank bragged to the girl across from him about his kids' conductors, artists, dancers, entrepreneurs. His house was bursting with talent. All raised with care through those protective wire diagrams outside, he really went the extra mile. Of course, his lung issues came from all that hands-on experience with the wire diagrams. After an 8-hour-long ride, Frank finally arrived at his eldest son's place, eagerly ringing the apartment bell. But after a long wait, he heard no reply, so he had to sit on the steps like a kid who forgot his keys, quietly waiting. Sadly, he waited until dawn, but never saw his son, eventually having to drag his tired body to find a place to rest. On his way, he saw a gallery displaying David's painting, recalling childhood lessons instantly. What kind of person do you want to be? An artist. Yes, Frank stared at his son's work for a long time, as if he could feel his effort. In this quiet night, the painting offered a warmth and comfort to his cooling heart, and he spent a rough night at a 24-hour diner. The next day, Frank returned to his son's apartment. With the help of a female resident, he finally got inside. Unfortunately, after knocking for a long time, there was no response. Clearly, his eldest son was not home. After everything, Frank hurried off to his next stop, but with no direct bus, he had to find a place to rest for the night. After a day and night of travel, Frank finally reached his eldest daughter's place, a luxurious villa. When he rang the doorbell, it was his grandson who opened the door. His grandson was bouncing around, clearly not at all like his daughter described as needing care when sick, raising Frank's suspicions. At that moment, his daughter was in the garden on a call, trying to call her son in the same way she used to as a child. Though she had grown up to her old dad, she would always be his little girl who loved to jump into his arms. But now, her father's unexpected visit made her look a bit flustered, as if afraid of revealing something. Her husband arranged for the son to take her golfing, while he continued dialing his phone. Grandfather and grandson went to the golf course. It should have been a relaxing time, but an offhand comment from his grandson revealed things went simple. His grandson's performance wasn't as stellar as his daughter let on, making Frank realize she seemed to be hiding a lot. As dusk set in, his son-in-law rushed home carrying takeout, while the couple pretended to be lovey-dovey in front of Frank. The dinner table's atmosphere was tense. The verbal clash between grandson and son-in-law was like a tension-filled standoff, leaving the daughter caught in the middle, looking quite uncomfortable. At this point, his daughter asked Frank about his plans, but declined immediately when she heard he'd stay a few days. She tried to worm her way out, saying, "We're so busy with work, and the kid needs to go to school, we can't really host you." Frank felt a bit disappointed, but didn't press on, simply mentioning he'd visit the other two kids next. He asked his daughter not to tell them yet. When they were parting the next day, he suggested taking a family photo, but the grandson stubbornly refused to stand next. The three squeezed out forced smiles, making Frank's heart feel mixed emotions. Before boarding the train, he handed his daughter a letter. This time around, he finally gathered up the courage to pose a question that had been buried deep in his heart for ages. Could he spend some joyous times together with his family? Though he was strict with the kids growing up, Frank never asked for them to be rich. Ultimately, he just wanted them to be happy. On the train to his younger son's place, Frank chatted with fellow travelers, but this time without the bragging, as those two surprise visits made him realize his kids didn't live the splendid life they described. His younger son Robert was a band conductor, but seeing him conducting immediately drained the joy from Frank's heart. Turns out, the son who claimed to be a conductor was merely an ordinary drummer in the band, one no one would notice during performances. This reunion between father and son should have been heartwarming, but it felt distant, as if separated by an invisible wall. Frank couldn't help but ask about the conducting job, but his son vaguely explained. He only mentioned he occasionally conducted in his spare time. His actual job was as a drummer, leaving Frank helpless. Frank thought his son had trained hard for years in conducting and deserved to pursue greater achievements. However, his younger son felt percussion suited him better, plus the drumming had no pressure on him at all. Although disappointed, Frank didn't criticize too much. Every child has their own choices after all. He planned to stay days with his son, but his son excused he'd leave for Europe that afternoon. Frank had no choice but to leave for the next stop, asking his son if they could spend good times together.